Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture on triple integration. Our today's target will be how to fix the order of integration when limits are given. Okay, so the general form of integral is integral from a to b, second integral from f1 of x to f2 of x. So these limits are the functions of x, outer limits are constants, and this first integral, that is phi1 of xy and phi2 of xy, these are the functions of x and y. Some integrand, say g of x, y and z, dz, dy and dx. So this is the general format. Okay, one thing to observe here, that when this first integral, I am calling this as first, this as second and this as third. So first integral limits contains x and y, they are the limits of z. Okay, rather curve equations are converted into z equal to form, that's why they are the functions of x and y. Once z is solved, remaining variables are x and y, that's why second integral limits are the functions of x, so they should be the limits of y, and then lastly x. That's why we have z, y and then x as order of integration. Okay, so today's first type we are going to see, that is when limits are given, how to decide which limit is for which variable, then how to solve. Before that, we must go through the different formats of coordinate system. So first is Cartesian coordinate system, where we solve for x, y and z. Second is a spherical polar coordinate system. So here we know p is the point, then distance of a point p from the origin is r. Okay, and then this distance is nothing but r. Then we have x axis, y axis and vertically z axis. Vertically z is varying. OP makes the angle theta with z axis and OM makes the angle phi with x axis. Okay, and with this substitutions we have x as r sin theta cos phi, y as r sin theta sin phi and z as r cos theta for spherical polar coordinates. Okay, where r square is x square plus y square plus z square, theta is tan inverse of y by x and phi is nothing but tan inverse of r, that is root x square plus y square upon z. Whereas dx dy dz will be replaced by r square sin theta dr d theta d phi while converting given Cartesian into spherical polar coordinate system. Okay, one more coordinate system is there, that is called cylindrical coordinate system. This cylindrical coordinate system generally is used for cylinder, cone and paraboloid, whereas the spherical polar coordinate system is used for sphere. Okay, so cylindrical coordinate system is related with circle, that's why its substitution is just like polar form, like x is equal to r cos phi or p cos phi, y equal to p sin phi and z is z. Therefore substitution for dx dy dz is also like r dr d theta. Here it is p dp d phi and dz is dz, where p is root of x square plus y square and phi is tan inverse of y by x, whereas z remains z. I repeat, there are three systems we are discussing today, that is Cartesian coordinate system means x, y and z. Second, spherical polar coordinate, it means conversion of x, y, z into r, theta and phi, generally used for sphere. And third, that is cylindrical coordinate system, which converts x, y, z into p, phi and z and used for cone, cylinder and paraboloid. Okay, so let's see first example, which is of Cartesian form, that is evaluate integral from 0 to 2, then integral from 1 to 2 and then integral from 0 to yz, xyz, dx, dy, dz. So we will not judge our order of integration from this given part, that is dx, dy, dz. Okay, it doesn't mean that dx is given first, it means the first integral is with respect to x. When limits are given, we have to observe limit first. So as already explained, that if this first integral limits contains y and z, then they are the limits of x. So once x is fixed, these two integrals are of y and z. Okay, now since there are constant limits, all four are constant limits, then it is up to us whether to solve for y or z first. Okay, which we have taken, that first integral is with respect to x, then second with respect to y and then lastly with respect to z we have taken. Therefore x varying from 0 to y, z. So with respect to x, y and z are constant. Integral of x is x square by 2 with the limits 0 and yz. So upper limit gives us yz square, that is y square z square, into previous yz gives us y cube z cube whole by 2. Lower limit gives us 0. Now again second integral is with respect to y, That's why z cube upon 2 outside. Only y cube is integrated as y raised to 4 by 4 in the limits 1 and 2. Since limits are constant, we get constant value for integral, that is 2 raised to 4 minus 1 raised to 4, that is 16 minus 1, whereas this 2 into 4 gives us 8 outside. So it gives us 15 by 8 outside, and only z cube is integrated as z raised to 4 by 4 in the limits 0 and 2. That's why it is 2 raised to 4 minus 0, and it gives us 16 by 4, and lastly 15 by 2 as integral value. So with this example, what we learn, that if integral limits are the functions of two variables, then they are the limits of third variable, and so on. Okay, we'll have one more example. Evaluate integral from 0 to a, then 0 to a minus x, then 0 to a minus x minus y, x square dx dy dz. So obviously it is very clear that this first integral limit contains x and y, so they are the limits of z. Okay, once z is over, then other two integral limits are for y and x. Again the same logic, this second integral limits contains x, that's why they are the limits of y, and then lastly for x. Once this order of integration is fixed, we are free to solve the integral. Okay, so first is with respect to z, that's why x square constant, and only dz is integrated as z in the limits 0 and a minus x minus y. So only upper limit value comes here. Now with respect to y we have to integrate, so x square outside and a minus x minus y will be integrated. Again with respect to y we have a minus x as constant, so it is taken into one bracket and minus y, so that we can integrate easily. Its integration is a minus x into y, as a minus x is constant, and y is y square by 2 in the limits 0 and a minus x. So x square is still outside. A minus x into upper limit a minus x for y gives us a minus x square minus a minus x whole square by 2, and lower limit gives us 0. Therefore bracket square, 1 times bracket square minus half times bracket square gives us half times bracket square. That's why half outside. So this addition gives us half time a minus x whole square. Okay, now either you can go with beta gamma function or you can open the bracket. X square as it is, a minus x whole square gives us a square minus 2x plus x square. If you want to solve this by beta gamma function, you can go for the substitution for x as a t, so that a will be outside and you get 1 minus t and t raised to something here and dt accordingly. Then we get the first definition of beta. Okay, and if you expand it as it is, we get x square a square minus 2ax cube plus x raised to 4, which is now easy for integration. So a square as it is, x square integral is x cube by 3 minus 2a, x cube is integrated as x raised to 4 by 4 plus x raised to 5 by 5 for x raised to 4 in the limits 0 and a. So only upper limit gives us value, lower limit is 0. So we get a raised to 5 by 3 minus 2a raised to 5 by 4, that is half, plus a raised to 5 by 5. If we take a raised to 5 outside, bracket constant gives us 1 by 60, that is a raised to 5 by 60 as final answer. Okay, so this way once the order of integration is fixed, we can integrate it as single integral one after another. Okay, one more example. This is very important example. Evaluate 0 to log 2, 0 to x and 0 to x plus y, e raised to x plus y plus z dx dy dz. Okay, now again the same logic. First integral limit contains x and y, so this integral is with respect to z. Remaining variables are y and z. So second integral is with respect to y, as these limits are in terms of x, and then lastly we have x. So definitely we have this x, this y, and this for z. Additionally, e raised to x plus y plus z can be written as e raised to x into e raised to y into e raised to z using the property. Okay, so that with respect to z, we can take e raised to x and e raised to y outside. Like this, e raised to x is further constant for y, that's why it is taken even outside for the middle integral. E raised to y is constant and e raised to z is integrated as e raised to z in the limits 0 and x plus y. So upper limit gives us e raised to x plus y minus lower limit gives us e raised to 0. E raised to 0 is 1. Now if we take e raised to y inside, just like this step, e raised to x plus y plus z, we wrote e raised to x into e raised to y into e raised to z. Similarly, e raised to x plus y, we write e raised to x into e raised to y. When we take e raised to y inside, we get e raised to x into e raised to 2y minus this is 1 into e raised to y, e raised to y. So that now integration is easy. With respect to y, e raised to x is constant. This e raised to x is also constant. E raised to 2y is integrated as e raised to 2y upon derivative of power, that is 2 with respect to y, minus integral of e raised to y is e raised to y as it is. Limits are 0 and x. Upper limit gives us this e raised to x outside, e raised to x into e raised to 2x, which is e raised to 3x by 2 minus y as x, that's why e raised to x. This bracket is upper limit, minus we put y as a 0, so we get e raised to x into e raised to 0, which is e raised to 0 is 1, so e raised to x by 2 here, and minus e raised to 0 is 1. When we open the bracket, when we take e raised to x inside, we get e raised to 3x into e raised to x as e raised to 4x by 2. This minus 1 e raised to x and minus half e raised to x gives us minus 3 by 2 e raised to x into e raised to x is minus 3 by 2 e raised to 2x, and this minus and minus plus 1 into e raised to x is plus e raised to x. Okay, now it is easy to integrate. E raised to 4x upon 2, integral is e raised to 4x upon 2 into 4, that is 8, minus 3 by 2 as it is. Integral of e raised to 2x is e raised to 2x upon 2 gives us 4 here, plus e raised to x is e raised to x. When we use upper limit log 2, we get e raised to 4 log 2 upon 8 minus e raised to 3 2 log 2 upon 4 plus e raised to log 2. This bracket is nothing but upper limit value minus lower limit. Put everywhere x as 0. So everywhere we have e raised to 0, which is 1. So we get only 1 by 8 minus by 4 plus 1 as last bracket. Okay. Now two properties of log, that is m log n can be written as log of n raised to m. This m goes as power of n, and further e raised to log a is a. Okay. So definitely e raised to 4 log 2 can be written as e raised to log of 2 raised to 4, and using second property e raised to log of 2 raised to 4 is only 2 raised to 4, that's why 16. Similarly 3 by 4 as it is, e raised to 2 log 2 can be written as e raised to log 2 square, and that is only 2 square, that is 4, plus e raised to log 2 is 2 only, minus lower limit value. So if we simplify this constant, we get 5 by 8. So very important example to understand triple integral and its order of integration. Okay. Now we have one example on polar. Evaluate integral from 0 to pi by 2. So obviously when limits are in terms of angle, it must be limits of theta. Okay. Then integral from 0 to a sine theta. Then integral from 0 to a square minus r square upon a r d theta, dr and dz. So three variables theta, r and z are here. Okay, so since theta is fixed for outer integral sign, we have this integral limits in terms of r, so they must be the limits of z. Okay, and then obviously second integral limit is for r. So we have first integral for z, second for r, and then lastly for theta. So with respect to z, integrand is only r here, which is constant, so outside, and dz is integrated as z in the limits 0 and a square minus r square by a. So upper limit minus lower limit gives us 1 by a outside, and only upper limit, that is a square minus r square here, dr d theta. Now with respect to r, if we take r inside, we get a square into r, whose integral is a square r square by 2, minus this becomes r cube, so integral is r raised to 4 by 4 from 0 to a sine theta. So upper limit gives us a square sine square theta upon 2, so a raised to 4 sine square theta by 2, minus r raised to 4 means a raised to 4 sine raised to 4 theta upon 4, whereas lower limit gives us 0. Okay. Now a raised to 4 outside upon a already there. Okay, and with this minus sign we separate this integral as half of integral of sine square theta d theta minus 1 by 4 times integral of sine raised to 4 theta d theta. Why this is so? Because we have ready formula from beta gamma function for integration. So a raised to 4 by a gives us a cube, half as it is. Now see here, 0 to pi by 2 sin raised to m theta d theta, where m is equal to 2, which is even. Since it is even, we have pi by 2 in the answer. Since it is even, odd number less than that even number at numerator, that is 1 only, and that even number comes at denominator, and all even numbers less than that comes to denominator in product, which is not. Okay, 2 is the only even number here. Okay, then minus 1 by 4. Similarly, here 4 is the even number, that's why extra pi by 2. Then 4 is even, that's why 4 is at denominator, and all even number less than 4 are in product at denominator, that is 2 only. So 4 into 2. Okay, whereas numerator contains all the odd numbers less than 4, that is 3 here, and that's it. No need to solve integration in details. So a cube into pi by 8 minus this gives us 3 pi by 64. If you simplify, we get a cube into 5 pi by 64. Okay, we have one more example on Cartesian form, that is integral from 1 to e, then integral from 1 to log y, then 1 to e raised to x log z dx dy dz. Okay, now we have to observe carefully here, as first integral contains only x term, so it could be integral of y or z, right? So the question is whether it is of y or z is nothing but we have to observe the other integral limits. Okay, so this middle second integral limits are in terms of y. So definitely the integral after that should be for y, because this, when we solve this second integral with respect to some variable and we put these limits log y and 1 as upper and lower limit, we get the resultant terms as a functions of y. So definitely after that we should integrate with respect to y to remove that function into, or rather replace that function by some constants, that is e and 1. Therefore this outer integral sign must be for y. So once y is over, there is a question whether this integral is of which variable. Since y is over, then this integral limit must be for x or z. As they are the functions of x, it must be the integral for z. Therefore, this integral is for z, second integral is with respect to x, the outer integral is with respect to y. Okay, this way. Now one more formula is required here again and again, that is integral of log x dx is x log x minus x. I repeat, integral of log x is x log x minus x. So here log z is the function of z and very first integral variable is z, that's why log z is integrated as z log z minus z using this formula. Therefore in the limits 1 and e raised to x, it gives us upper limit z as e raised to x. So e raised to x into log of e raised to x is x. I repeat, log of e raised to x is x, like in previous example, minus z is e raised to x. So this bracket is nothing but upper limit minus lower limit z as 1. So 1 into log 1. Log 1 is 0. That's why first term is 0 minus 1. So this bracket contains minus 1. Okay. When we open the bracket, we get x e raised to x minus e raised to x plus 1 dx and dy. Now second integral is with respect to x. So we come here for u into v form. So with respect to x, we have x as it is, integral of second, that is e raised to x, integral is e raised to x, minus derivative of first, that is derivative of x, which is 1, and one more integral of second, that is again e raised to x. This is the integration by parts generalized rule. Okay, provided that one of the function called as u is algebraic function. We take derivative of first function, integral of second function with alternate plus or minus sign. Okay, so x as it is, integral of second minus derivative of first and one more integral of second. So with this e raised to x, u into v is over, minus e raised to x is e raised to x and 1 is x after integral in the limits 1 and log y. So we get here x e raised to x, these two are added as minus 2 e raised to x plus x with the same limits. So x is a log y here, e raised to x, e raised to log y is a y here, minus 2 e raised to log y is y here, and x is log y. So this bracket is upper limit minus, we put x as 1. So we get e minus 2e plus 1. When we open all the brackets, we get y log y minus 2y plus log y, e minus 2 is minus e and then minus plus e minus 1 dy. ठीक है. Now again for next integral, that is last integral with respect to y, we have u into v form here. That is, there is a product of two y function. So what we do, we take u as log y as its derivative is known, and we are differentiating u always and integrating v in the u v rule. So we take log y as u and y as v. It gives us first as it is, that is log y as it is, integral of y, that is y square by 2, minus integral derivative of first, so log y का derivative 1 upon y, and integral of second is y square by 2 dy. So you know this can be integrated in next step easily. Minus 2y, y integral is y square by 2, so 2 to cancel, only y square. Integral of log y is y log y minus y, like using previous this formula. Then plus ey minus y. Okay, now before putting these limits, we need to solve this integral first. So y square by 2 into log y minus half outside. This y and one of the y is cancelled. Remaining term is only y, and its integration is y square by 2 minus y square and all other terms as it is in the limits 1 and e. Now we put upper limit y as e. So we get e square by 2, log e is 1, minus e square by 4 minus e square plus e square minus 2e as your first upper limit bracket. Minus lower limit gives us y as 1. If you put, we get log of 1 0, so all the log terms goes to 0, so only minus y square by 4 here, that is 1 by 4 here, minus 1 plus e minus 2. So when we simplify it, we get 1 by 4 times e square minus 8e plus 13. Okay, very simple example. And the last one here, evaluate integral 0 to 1 minus x, 0 to 1 minus x minus y, 1 upon 1 plus x plus y plus z, bracket cube dx dy dz. Okay, I have not solved this example fully, but only few steps I have discussed here. So very clearly you can see this integral limits are in terms of x and y, so they must be the limits of z. Definitely x and y remain, so this limit in terms of x, that's why they are the limits of y, and at last we have x. Okay, so if you write this bracket term at numerator with raised to minus 3, it is easy to integrate. Let's see here. So with respect to z, bracket raised to minus 3 integral is bracket raised to minus 3 plus 1 upon minus 3 plus 1 into bracket derivative, which is 1, that's why only raised to minus 2 upon minus 2 in the limits 0 and 1 minus x minus y. Okay, one thing here, this is dy dx, consider this as dy dx, not dy dz. Here as well dy and dx. Okay, so minus half is outside, integral 0 to 1 minus x, and we have bracket raised to minus 2 if it is written as 1 upon bracket square minus 1 upon bracket square. So this term is for upper limit, z as 1 minus x minus y is written here, minus this term is for lower limit, z is written as 0, so only 1 plus x plus y. Here is the cancellation of x and y with this minus x and minus y. Only remain part is a 2, that is 1 plus 1, and 2 square is 4, so first term gives us 1 by 4. And second term contains bracket square at denominator is again written at numerator with power minus 2. Okay, so it is easy to integrate because next is with respect to y. So next integral with respect to y gives us y by 4 minus bracket raised to minus 1 upon minus 1 in the limits 0 and 1 minus x. And when we simplify and again further if we integrate it with respect to x, so we get the answer half of log 2 minus 5 by 8. Okay, so this way if limits are given, we can fix their order of integration and solve one integral one after another. Okay, thank you.